We're here at our new piece of property, and this is our camp right here. Set up on day one. A lot of improvements need to be made, but this is day one. We just closed today. Took possession about a half hour ago. Got the generator on. It's hot, I'm not gonna lie. It's 90 degrees right now, and it's only 12:30 in the afternoon. So anyway, let me take you around a little bit and show you what we got here. By the way, I'm enjoying my Second Amendment rights. Yep, that's right. I'm gonna carry a gun on my property. Looks like we got rain clouds off in the distance. All right, so this stake down here is the corner of my 10 acres. We still have yet to have a surveyor come out and divide all the properties up. Since there's 3 of us, one person's going to have 20 acres. The other 2 are going to have 10 each. So there's my marker. We're going to head down this way. Sorry about the wind. There's a little bit of wind today. So I'm actually not very far into my 10-acre piece of property. But seeing as how there's no driveway and this ground has never been driven on before, I didn't really want to take the RV too much farther back than where it is. I have 100% confidence that I will be able to get the RV back out. So far, all that is my 10 acres. What I'm doing right now is I'm walking to roughly where the middle is going to be, and that will be one of the 4 sides to the property. It's big. We split a 40-acre piece, and it's no joke. It's a big piece of property. 40 acres in a square is about a 1/4 mile squared. So we roughly have, for the 40 acres, about 1 square mile. So I would say probably right in here, maybe a little bit farther, but I would say probably right about here where this bush is. This would be the dividing line going down. All this right here is part of the 20 acres that Aja bought. Bruce has 20 acres directly behind me. So let's walk all the way down to the next property marker. That will indicate the marker of the other corner of the 40 acres. Lots and lots of wood on this property, that's for sure. Lots of trees, lots of land. You can barely see my RV through the trees. At this distance, I can't hear the generator at all. You would never know it's running. It is absolutely quiet out here. You can hear every bird, every animal. It's really nice. Once again, look at that rainstorm. Been watching that form for about the last hour as we were driving in. Okay, I can see the marker down there. I was not actually quite halfway. It goes a long way. Basically, I'm walking a quarter mile. So I see the marker right down there. All this is what belongs to Aja. And if you see the tall tree way back there, I believe that's to the end of the 40 acres that way. Plenty of room for a large group to park here. Plenty of room. Little easier to breathe here. It's 6,000 feet as opposed to in the neighborhood of 7 that we've been at for the last month. Okay, here it is. This is the other corner. Goes straight down this way. Okay, so walking back. Plenty of cow dew. And I can feel the raindrops starting to hit me. So I'm going to start walking a little bit faster. I don't mind getting rained on, but I'd sure hate to have a downpour. And although it is 90 degrees out, it would probably feel really good. This road is not a county road and it is not maintained, but it may only be 2 tire tracks, but it's well packed down. There is no washboard or any bumps. It's very smooth. So far, nobody has messed this road up. And this road has such a little amount of traffic. As long as we don't drive on this during the rain or during the wet season, it should be fine. We should have no problem with the road getting messed up. Okay, I think we're actually getting very close to the middle. Okay, I can see that pin and I can see this one. I would say probably right in here would be the divider. This would be Aja's property that goes back for 20 acres. And then this would be the start of mine, which goes back in a square. So out there to where the second tree line starts out there after the middle of that open field, that would be probably the end of my property, and then it would shoot all the way along there. And Bruce has the one in the back. got a cow path. This is a hardened, beaten down trail by the cows that walk on this property when they are grazing. Eventually, I'm going to fence off my entire 10 acres. They've got plenty of other land they can graze on. It doesn't have to be mine. Although, I don't mind all the cow poop. I'm going to use it for fertilizer when I start a small garden. But anyway, all these trees, all this is part of my property. Why don't we walk over there a little bit and see what we can see. Now, I already figured out where I'm going to put my camp, which is basically going to consist of a gravel pad and a shipping container and a fence going around the entire camp so I can let my dogs loose and not worry about them and not worry about other things walking in that don't belong. There is a lot of wildlife out here: deer, elk, antelope, pronghorn, javelina, bobcats, coyotes, and I'm sure a few other things, probably foxes and some other stuff. Lots of ants. Luckily, this ground has quite a bit of rock to it. You can see that the ants brought all this rock and dirt up from the bottom, so it looks like it's going to have decent drainage. I think that eventually, if we needed to put in a septic system, I think it would probably work out here. I've wanted to have a piece of property like this my whole life. I always wanted to have a piece of property that is big enough to not hear or see my neighbors, big enough that I could set up a small, safe area to do some different sports that I enjoy, and just to have all these trees. It's awesome. It's like I said, this is exactly what I've always wanted. Now, back here a little ways, I can already see the area I'm going to make into my camp. And what I used to decide where I wanted to put my camp, I looked for the biggest clearing that was next to the biggest tree I could find. And the reason why I wanted a big tree was for shade and atmosphere. And this is it. There's where my RV is now. There's going to be a driveway come all the way through. There's going to be a gate right across here. And then this whole opening here is probably going to be gravelled off. It's probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 80 to 100 by 100. So it's going to be a big spot. And this is the tree. So this is what's called a pinyon pine tree, and this is the kind of pine tree that makes the famous pine nuts. On my portion of property, this is the biggest tree, and I'm going to do a lot to clean it up, and I'm going to have a nice patio underneath it. I probably will put my shipping container directly across here, a 40-foot shipping container, and the reason why is that will block the prevailing wind, and then I'll put a patio on the other side of it, and then the RV parked on the other side, so that the shipping container blocks most of the wind. And then I will have a nice big area to turn vehicles around, and an area back in here I can park my trailer. I think it's going to be nice. And then I'll probably run a perimeter fence, kind of just all the way around the outside, come back around to the gate. My dogs will have somewhere in the neighborhood of about 6,000, maybe as much as 10,000 square feet to run around. This would be the back section of my property, where I will have lots of room to grow things. I can also envision a racetrack for the Razor in and around these trees. Why not? I got nobody out here to piss off. Nobody to tell me I can't do it. Not that I would listen anyway. Those trees right out there in the middle, that's pretty close to the middle of the 4 pieces of property. If we were to divide the 40 acres into 4 pieces, that's where all 4 corners would meet, roughly in that area. Plus or minus 100 feet. And it's going to be nice once we get that surveyed. There's going to be a driveway that goes all the way in, and there's going to be a roundabout in the middle where all 4 properties meet. And the reason why we say 4 properties, originally there were 4 investors, and we were going to split this 40 acres 4 ways. We had an investor back out, and we created a deal, and the one of us 3 that decided they wanted the 20 acres was Aja. So she's going to have 20 acres, and so from right there, her plot would go back a whole nother 10 acres, way to the back there. And this whole area here is what belongs to Bruce. It's awesome.